Welcome back to That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Anime Review, episode number 8. This is discussing episodes 18 and 20. Now, pretty much by 20, they pretty much wrap up book 3, and they start adapting book 4 with episode 20. You're probably thinking, why the heck would I start something that basically is adapted from a book that I haven't read yet? Because I want to finish up basically the episodes that adapt book 3. That's simply the reason for it. Basically, in these episodes, we get introduced to a new character, at least a couple of them. Actually, one I could think of, and that's Trini's little sister, who actually informs the Juna Tempest Federation about the Carberus, I think it's how you pronounce it. It's the dragon-like creatures, the Carbados. Yes, the fact that they're on their way with a bunch of megalodons. I heard like megalodons. You mean those giant freaking sharks that are rumored to be about 60, 80 feet long? Yeah, except these are not like gray, as they know depicted. These are blue. These are giant blue sharks, basically shoot out armor. And we have the High Orcs, who just in the last set of episodes were fighting the Federation. And here, they're the allies. They're basically supporters because, well, they were manipulated. Their leader was manipulated by an outside force. So basically, High Orcs basically back wearing armor, but at least not eating dead bodies anymore. They normally. Yep, and the Megalodons basically have very tough skin. And the orcs try to basically beat him, but look how Garbage just basically comes and stabs on him in the freaking head with his freaking trident and takes him out. And pretty much, Mel basically was like, had them kept on the sidelines because they think that, oh, they're there for them. There for them, but not really per se. Turns out they're actually here for Demon Lord because the person who's the host of it is the chief subordinate for another Demon Lord. They find this out when he got shoot out of that creature after it was destroyed by Lilith. Yep, after the creature was destroyed, his boss, Klykin, shows up, which Mare knew exactly he was there. Of course, he got punched by his punched in the ground. He's like, wait. And of course, Rimmer points out, his head's bleeding. Oh, he'll be fine. Of course, he apologized for the subordinate's actions. And Rimmer's like, it's okay. And he says, how about a non-aggression pact with me? And he's like, sure, why not? We'll sign it right now. Done. And then they go home. Mare stays for a bit and she leaves the very next episode. She goes home because she has to take care of Demon Lord business, which she does do at the end of book 3. And then right after that, by the way, she says this while basically Ruby's in the back with all the girls. I mean, not just her, but also Shion, Shino, and one of the girls from Caval's party. Yeah, all 5 girls, basically. I'm like, Ruby, you lucky dog to get 5 beautiful women being in the hot spring with you. Damn, man. But then, of course, in slime form, he has dreams. And he remembers a promise he made to Shia back in, like, episode 8. Shizu, yes. The fact that, well, he remembers a promise to her and he needs to go out to her former academy. He got basically all the credentials and a letter introduction. And the Grandmaster of the Institute is actually a student of hers. So he goes there and he just brings Rig with him. Nobody else. And he figured though that the country is okay for the moment, so he goes out and rides out to the country. And so I think it's a pretty far distance by Ryan Riga. He gets there in 3 days. So he tells Riga, because Riga's a wolf, he might be spooking people. Hire his shadow. Not a bad idea. Walks to town. But he does put his mask on because basically he thinks that monsters may not be welcome in town. Which I'm sure he's probably true about that. He goes to Free Academy, he sees a bunch of glass. It looks like almost like a modern day city, this particular place. Yes. The Free Academy is what they call it. Yes. And the Guildmaster, they do mention a character named Hinata, a character by the name of Hinata Saguchi. Yeah, she's first mentioned here, but she does not, let's just say, she does not appear in the episode. No. Basically, we have this episode debut of Yuki Kariska. Yeah, very nice guy. Yeah, he's like the guild master of this place called known as the Free Guild. Oh, and by the way, despite the fact this is a foreign, this is basically a world with magic, with swords and sorcery. Apparently, the main building of this place has automatic doors. Raymer himself was shocked the fact to see this, given the fact this is another world. He thought that they wouldn't have technology like this, but automatic doors, wow, big class. It's like people who basically come from other worlds take stuff from their own world, bring it here. Well, basically take their ideas, bring it here. And he goes upstairs and meets up in the Guildmaster's office. Wait, because he does mention that this guy is a otherworlder, but basically he's not a summon like anyone else. They do bring up the whole mention about summons. They mentioned a little expansion basically about summons, where they're basically brought here by 30 mages, except that the summons can only stay here for 5 years. Well, stay in that world for 5 years, because after 5 years, they die. They're basically on death's door, obviously. Yep. So, Rimuru is basically, after have recompetition with him, he also basically takes time to explain to him about certain anime and manga basically happening. Of course, he also takes paper and makes a bunch of manga, which, of course, the great stage thing is a waste of time. And Rimuru's like, no, that's not a waste of time. This is basically pure fun. Though, of course, his office gets wrecked anyways. Though the Grandmaster can probably fix it anyways because he's probably rich. And then he meets his students. Yes, his students. And these students are Chloe Albert, Alice Ringo, Ruta Sagisi, Kenta Mushi, Gail Gibson. I believe he's the oldest of all of them. Yes, I believe he's like 11, which I think is kind of a bit surprising the fact he's actually 11. Chloe is going to become a really important character. Yeah. I mean, appearance wise, very adorable girl. She is voiced by Emily Knives. Which, okay, interesting. So I have a second character here who's voiced by Emily Knives, who's a little girl. The other, of course, being Eri from My Hero Academia. Alice herself is voiced by Sarah Wenhoff. Great to hear her in the show. I don't think I heard her voice in the episode, but she's definitely the voice of her. Kenya is voiced by Brittany Luda. So, like, a lot of these characters voiced by women. Gail Gibson is actually voiced by Justin Brenner. You might be thinking, that name sounds very familiar. Yes, it's basically the voice of Deku from My Hero Academia. Yep. Ruta is voiced by Appa Yu. I'm not familiar with this one. No, I'm not familiar with this one. I haven't heard the voice yet, but yeah. And the one of the students, I think it was this one, wasn't it? No, it wasn't this one. It was one of them. Is it Ruta? No, that was Ruta. Maybe this one, Kenya. Yeah, the one who's voiced by Brittany Luda. Yeah. So Tax Rimuru comes with, of course, Rim's wearing a mask. Of course, like, oh yeah, look like a teacher. Of course, that's where the episode ends, basically. Introduction to these 5 characters. But yeah, 3 really good episodes. I like all the action bits here. And yeah, it's interesting to know the fact that what happens in the final chapter of book 3 is pretty much in a way adapted for episode 20. Yes, I'd say it. I think it finishes the chapter. More like the epilogue. You need something, Oliver? What are you doing? My nephew decided to join me for this review.
George.
What?
George.
Well, I'm at the end of the video here, but Comic Corner is coming next. Okay, next video. Bye.